So now it is that your girl's recorded. Let's go ahead. Let's get into this next video, shall we? Now, Tommy, we meet again. Shout out to you. The age of addictions. I can't necessarily talk too much because I do have an addiction, and it's iced coffee. It's iced coffee, it's pumpkin spice, seafood, ramen. Like, I know a ramen bowl hate to see me coming. I do have somewhat of addictions. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I can't lie. I do have somewhat of an addiction. But I know my poison though. You know what I mean? So nonetheless, if I gotta wake up early in the morning to get a pumpkin spice iced coffee, then hey, I don't want nobody to stop me. So without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead. Let's get into this video.
Addictions have always been a thing in this world, and it's inevitable people get them. Each generation has had a different set of ones affect them more compared to the next. Boomers were more addicted to cigarettes and alcohol, being the victim of the tobacco.
I'm sorry, like, as cigarettes is weird as I draw the line. I've tried it before, didn't like it. I'm like, oh, this is garbage. Never did it again. I was probably like 21, 22 at the time. Because you want to know what's funny? My friends smoke cigarettes, and I would be like, let me try it. And they'd be like, oh my God, no. And it's like, you know what? If you're telling me no to not smoke it, maybe you should also take that level of that advice. You know?
Industry and having them pay off doctors to say things like this.
You know, this night work's kind of rough, isn't it? That's right. But a camel's always a pleasure.
Yes, folks, the pleasing mildness of a camel is just as enjoyable to a doctor as it is to you or me.
But hey, it's all good. They made it for that stress by beating their millennial children for asking them to get a toy. Millennials and Gen X are more addicted to alcohol and prescription drugs, and also posting the most cringe content you'll ever see on TikTok.
Who in the millennials? This can't be millennials. I'm sorry. This gotta be a Gen Z. There's no way. Or a Gen X. There's no way. I'm not believing that this is millennials making this. I'm sorry. I'm not.
I guess that's what happens when you were the victim of the generation that would beat you just because. You know what? If they're having fun on their side of the internet, I'm happy for them. And of course we end up with the dump of all that, which is Gen Z. But I think we're kind of different because before you had to do a little more searching in the past generations to get that addiction. You know, like have the money to buy a cigarette or alcohol. But now because of the digital age, it's made it almost impossible for Gen Z to not have an addiction. The amount of people in Gen Z who just have an addiction casually and we act like it's normal is kind of insane. We were the first test group of the internet's effect on a younger generation, and now that everyone's on the internet 24/7, like 90% of people have an addiction because of the internet. So I want to talk about all the ones that are getting pushed and more amplified with us, I would say. And we could start off with food. Okay, food didn't start with us, and Gen Z isn't even the fattest generation, but because of online ads and social media ads, it's very easy to push. We haven't even paid attention to the thought of how many food delivery apps we have. Bro, growing up, I remember
I only use one, and it's DoorDash. I rarely use Uber Eats, and I don't use Grubhub no more. I stopped using Grubhub since 2022. But I will say food is the addictive problem. I think it's always been that. I don't think it's a Gen Z thing, but I do believe that it's gotten worse because how accessible it is through the food apps. I'm not gonna lie. Because at this rate now, it's like, especially if you live far away, if you don't got a car, it's like, oh, okay, I'll just go ahead and DoorDash me some food. And now you're DoorDashing food multiple times throughout the week. You're not cooking at home. So this one is a reasonable addiction to why this is being brought up.
Remember, the most you could deliver to your house was a pizza. It would be late night, and if you were craving something and didn't want to drive to an actual physical location, your ass had to order some Domino's or Papa John's.
No, Wendy's. I can go on the app right now, bro. If it's after 12 o'clock, I know that Wendy's is gonna be open 24/7.
I know it had to suck working at one of those places back then though, because the amount of prank calls that would go viral on YouTube of people just trolling them was astronomical. Like this channel Ownage Pranks used to go A1 back in the day. Bro would spout the most stereotypical racist accent to a worker and ruin their day. And you don't even need the delivery apps anymore. If you just download the fast food apps, they get it delivered for you. You know, you got your Chick-fil-A's, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Food, Chipotle, wait, what? Yeah, believe it or not, that was a real delivery service app until it got taken down. I wonder how such a family-friendly thing could violate Apple's terms of service. And if you download one of these food apps, you can save like half your costs by using them. They make it easier than ever to get big backed, because they'll give you the best deals ever that for some reason they don't offer if you don't order on the app. And quarantine at my biggest back is I was trapping off that McDonald's app getting a free large fry with a $1 purchase. You got
I haven't had McDonald's all this year, and I've been doing pretty good. We're about to be in June, so it's been more than 6 months since it is I last had McDonald's. But boy, does that... Well, now they raised the price of it. It used to be $129 for like any size fry, but then on Fridays, it's a purchase of $1. You get some fries. That's sneaky. That's real sneaky. McDonald's, you know what you're doing. Because Wendy's had something like, not Wendy's, Burger King has something like this too, with the $1 large fry. You know what you're doing.
With 2 million McDonald's points who order basically every day for the past 4 years. Yes. At that point, do you get to meet Ronald McDonald or something? Because that has to deserve some type of reward. TikTok got to be the biggest influence for food nowadays though. Because how many times have you seen a food spot on TikTok and it's near you? And you think to yourself, well, damn, now I gotta try it to see what the hype is. With traveling nowadays, everyone's go-to when looking for food is going to TikTok to see what the people are saying is the best. I always think how-
Wait, go back to that Houston one because I'm going to be there tomorrow.
Everyone's go-to when looking for food is going to TikTok.
Top 5 restaurants in Houston, Texas. I'm not a rib type of girly, but all those other sides and stuff like that, you can go ahead, you can pass that.
TikTok to see what the people are saying is the best. I always think how insane Keith Lee's come up was, and it shows how big backed we really are, because he quite literally will go to a food spot, give a review, and all it takes is a God damn, that's good. And the whole restaurant is fully booked up for the rest of the year. That's not a diss either, by the way, you know what I'm saying? We have with Keith Lee over here. And then you got those mukbang videos that became popular where they're eating gargantuan masses of food. I learned that some people watch these because they want to feel like they're literally eating the food, but their stomach can't take it, so they watch someone else do it. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with them. I just get sick and want to yak out a car window after looking at these. If you eating like this, you dead ass abusing your stomach wall lining. Next we got vape. For all the people who watch me and vape, I just want to let you know you're bigger than the vape. So do me a favor and put it down for your health now and your future. And pick up a cigarette like a real. I always find it so insane that our generation was bombarded with PSAs about smoking and the harmful effects of it. Everyone ended up thinking we wouldn't be affected by it as much and be a much more healthy generation. Until they released flavors with the name Mango Cherry Freeze and Fortnite carts that no one knows the origin of to change minds instantly. I knew our generation was going to be the most addicted to it when I would walk in the school bathroom and casually see two in a stall with clouds of smoke coming out of it. And you'd have some dude on lookout paying attention to the sound of the jingling of keys to tell if a staff member was around or not. Then they start fumbling around and waving the smoke around to try to hide it. I didn't even know how bad it was at first though, until I found out kids in elementary school are doing it too. As a kid in elementary school,
I beg your pardon? Nah, blame the parents for this one, because how do you have the accessibility to even get a vape? How do you even know what a vape is? I wholeheartedly blame the parents here.
Where the fuck are you getting the money to even afford that? Are you selling your rare Fortnite skins or something, then ordering them on eBay? According to statistics, 3.5% of middle schoolers in America vape as well. Low-key, we gotta bring back those scary anti-smoking ads. Because I remember when I was a kid being terrified of the thought of smoking. They would show the diagram of a healthy lung versus smoker lung, and I would have nightmares for the rest of the week. And no, you can't quit at any time. If you're somebody that has to sit there and reason with your friends like you're making a deal on Wall Street that you can, then let me introduce you to the last last stage of grief, acceptance. It's okay to accept the fact that the rest of your friends are gonna live amazing, willing, full lives until 80, 90, or 100. And at 40, you're gonna drop randomly in your kitchen after those mango cherry freeze chemicals reach your heart. And weed smokers,
Damn.
where y'all going? Cause y'all ain't safe from this either. In general, I think out of a weed smoker and vape smoker, the weed smoker is usually more healthy. Mainly because the product doesn't have mysterious chemicals imported from a factory in Beijing. Now
I'm still gonna talk my shit about with weed smokers. I still am. I hate the smell of weed. I do. I really do hate the smell of weed. Sometimes it is I can very much tolerate it, but at this point, it's just like, oh, I smoke weed because it is about anxiety. It calms me down, calms down my nerves at a very stressful day. Just say you're a crackhead. Just say it. Just say that. It'd be way easier and more of an acceptance to just say it is that you do crack. Just say that, okay? Just do that. He said weed be smelling like bacon. What kind of weed do you be? I don't want to know.
Nowadays, though, they be lacing the hell out of that weed, so I don't even know about that anymore. You could be picking up what you think is some regular Zaw from your local dealer, and it ends up being laced with fent, raccoon, and pee. The most annoying thing about weed smokers is they do the same thing as vape smokers, saying they can quit at any time, but they'll also argue with you, saying it makes them more productive, and they'll bring up successful people that do it as an example, like, I don't know, Snoop Dogg or Wiz Khalifa. The person saying it, though, 99% of the time is never productive. Like, you ask them what they did through the week, and it's take a shower once, rage on Valorant, goon to Sophie Rain, then smoke 7 times. If you're not one of those productive people using it, then you can't say it. And you'll also never be as productive as someone sober in that time. It's so bad, you got who will work the whole week, then half of their paycheck is going to some rolling papers and that flight duck pack. I think the reason why the rise of addictions and smoking weed is because it's so easy to access nowadays. They got whole apps meant to deliver strains to people, and you can go on.
I didn't even know this, chat. There's a wholehearted DoorDash weed edition that I didn't even know, where like you can just go ahead and be like, hey, listen, I need some weed. I need like an ounce. You know what I'm saying? I need like this, and this. And there's people that'll be like, I bet. And they drive it to you. You said, I need that. I found that out this month, chat. Where's that at? I found out this month that people do that. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. I had no clue.
Snapchat and casually see 10 dealers in a 1-mile radius. Back then, people were scared of getting caught, especially when the internet wasn't a thing. Plus, it was a lot more penalized, so people didn't take the risk. Next, we got gooning. I already made a whole video on this, so we don't gotta spend a lot of time on this. But the algorithms nowadays, more than ever, are meant to fuel horniness. Like, have y'all ever opened your Instagram feed or TikTok feed and they're literally throwing it in your face? No matter how many times I click not interested, it doesn't work. I think they have the button there just for fun. The best platform I see optimized where I don't see it is YouTube, because my algo was built brick by brick. It still happens, though, trust me. Like, somebody watching this probably got some freaky AI chatbot ad. But on Instagram and TikTok, they purposely don't listen to me. I just want...
Demango21 has just donated $50. Getting closer to that goal.
Mango with the $50 dono. I was a little scared at first. I didn't know if that was a part of the video. I'm just like, why am I hearing my dono notification? Yo, Mango, thank you so much for the 50 gifted. Damn, we're getting closer to the Sonic cosplay. We about to reach your cosplay? Shit. Okay. All right.
One person to do some research on these algorithms and see if they got a horny piece of code written in there. A lot of people also talk about why were we so sexual at a young age, which is kind of true, you know, when I think about it. It's a mix of things. One being the internet, although it's not as bad as now. Like a Gen Alpha kid with unmonitored access in 2025 is probably gonna win this corn at the age of 7. Probably a mix of us looking at these Disney stars when we were...
Shadow J3DI Knight has just donated $50.
There's
Gotta
no
go
way.
fast.
There's no way. There's no way.
Congratulations!
There's no way. There's no way. We just hit 300. Damn, y'all fast as hell. And I guess it's gonna be me too with this. Damn it. Y'all had to get me before it is I leave to go to DreamCon, right?
Were kids and thinking of some freaky. The crazy thing to me was the shift of how OF stars and corn stars were perceived. Back then, I remember when a girl got leaked, it was the worst thing to happen to her life. Like her whole sacred temple was exposed to the world. Or just somebody ousted as doing that line of work. They would never want that info.
Y'all cool with me doing the Sonic cosplay and also mukbang at the same time? Or the Hot Ones challenge? That would be kind of cool.
But nowadays, if you see a link tree in that bio, it's like a Russian roulette of if you'll see an OnlyFans link or not. It's just a casual thing now to see someone naked online. Never in my life growing up, I would think someone I went to high school with would start one, but I'm about 0 to 3 wrong, so good thing I didn't put a bet on that. Oh, and speaking of bets, gambling is next. Parlays have by themselves ruined the financial dreams of millions of Gen Z. Because with parlays, it feels like you're not putting much up, and if you already hate your job or you're trying to make it out, you're gonna take the risk and throw in something you can lose, like $10 or $20. But that ends up adding up, and as you keep losing, you end up losing like half your week's salary over some stupid ass prediction. My opinion is sports gambling is way more of a problem for us than traditional gambling. Like, I feel like that was the problem more back then. Although we definitely got our addicts for that too. Kick as a platform is pretty much meant as a funnel to stake where you can play slots to your heart's desire. Sports betting wouldn't even be that bad if everyone doing it actually had the disposable income too. But there should be no reason your whole paycheck is going on a bet. And it's really hard to stop because when you do get those wins, you always think you could get one potentially with another bet. And I don't know about y'all, but I've been getting a whole lot more of sports betting app ads a lot. It makes no sense too.
It's crazy because of the fact that, mind you, I'm not a gambler. I'm not a gambler. I'm not going to be one.
Thank you for your patronage.
Demango21 has just donated $100. Faster than the speed of light. Gotta go fast.
Oh my god. Yo, y'all going crazy. Y'all going crazy in the I'm still recording the react. Y'all going crazy. Y'all going crazy. Oh my god. Nah, man, go with the 100 gifted. Nah, the 100 donut. I'm so used to saying 100 gifted. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yo, thank you so much. Damn. You said it is. We're gonna be flying through all this. But what I was initially going to say is that I'm not a gambler off rip, right? I mean, I played craps before at like a casino. I won maybe like $4,000 one time. Well, and I started out with only like 50. I went from 50 to 4K, and I said, that is it. My friends around me was just like, you know, you can keep going. You can able to double it. I said, I am taking my black ass home. Home, okay? Home. Sometimes it is you just need to cut your wins and then just go about your day. But for all the people it is that have somewhat of an addiction to the gambling, it feels cool to win. Don't get me wrong. It feels very cool to win this money. But I'm telling you this right now. If you think that, I know I can just do a little bit more, so I'm going to put in this amount, and you lose everything. I've seen people wholeheartedly pawn wedding rings, pawn their cars. I'm talking about like houses, you know, funds for their children. I've seen stuff like that, and I'm just like, look, I know. No, that's when it is. Y'all got to stop gambling. But the parlays, I never got into. I'm not necessarily an NBA person as it is anyway, so there's really no point of me even doing that. But I guess it's to each his own, but just know what you're getting into at this point. Like, if you are wholeheartedly banking on money from a possible win of a parlay to be able to eat and do what it is you need to do, close the app at this point.
Because I live in Texas. I can't even gamble here. So why are they even pushing it here when it's banned? Like, it makes zero sense to me. It's almost like they know people can use VPNs to do it anyways. And they be giving some crazy ass bonuses just for you to join and make a single bet. Like, who wouldn't take a free $100 to bet? For just a tiny risk of forever being indebted to the app and watching every single one of the 500 bets you made in the past week. Just a tiny risk though. The sports betting industry growth is so insane when you look at the chart. Just 7 years ago, it was only $209 million, and now it's around $4 to $6 billion. If this ain't an indication of a recession, then I don't know what is. People's doing anything to get money. I guarantee there's some dads out there risking their paycheck and if their kids get to eat, just to see if the bet will hit of LeBron getting over 40 points in a game. Next, we got Caffeine. And it's time to...
Relax, relax, relax. You're touching. I already said it is that I'm addicted to caffeine, but coffee specifically, or unless it is, you know, a Goyaki. Shout outs to Berlin for putting me on to that. But relax, calm it down. Yeah, you don't even have to sit there and attack me. I ain't even did
To
anything.
be open and honest, y'all, this is probably the thing I match close.
Okay, hold on. I mean, I do a little ghost here and there when I work out. I can't lie. 200 milligrams, that sounds about reasonable. Me getting an iced coffee is like 100, 150 milligrams. All right, cool. But like, if you drink Celsius, I'm looking at you a little weird. If you drink Celsius, C4, Monster, especially the goddamn Red Bull, I'm looking at you a little weird. Okay? I'm looking at you a little weird. And yes, the person it is who likes iced coffee and drinks Ghost to pre-workout, yes, I am judging you, okay? I had Celsius one time and I felt like my heart was about to like beat out of his chest. I did not like that feeling. And Red Bull gave me the same feeling. I'm cool. I don't need it.
Closest with. My excuses though, I only take pre-workout on days I work out, which is 5 days in a week. Not really a good excuse though, but trust me, I can quit anytime. I just need a little powder sprinkled in my toothpaste to get my bones jolting. Caffeine addiction is probably the easiest one to get because when you're tired in a day and need a little boost, it's one of the few legal substances you can take to boost your energy. Sadly, they banned the original Coke formula, but I've heard there's ways to get around it. It also doesn't help that on TikTok,
Domingo21 has just donated $100.
Oh,
yay, time for that
God.
special incentive. Smile with horns.
Mango, put the wallet away. Put the wallet away, okay? Put the wallet away. Put the wallet away. Put it away. You said never? I gotta gamble. Ain't no way, bro. Oh my gosh. Yo, thank you. Damn, thank you so much. Damn. This is like graduation all over again, twin. Shit. Okay. Not the D chips, right?
people will post their favorite coffee recipes or drink they got at Starbucks. Then people run to the store to get the exact same one to see what the hype is about. Everybody all of a sudden also started drinking matcha and making matcha everything.
Relax on the matcha. Relax on the matcha. Relax on the matcha, okay? Because I actually like matcha. I liked the matcha before it became such a hype, but I've already told y'all this. You gotta have the good green type of matcha. You can look at it by color to know what it is. If it's gonna be like a good rich matcha, or it's gonna be that weak shit from like Dunkin'. And don't get me wrong, Dunkin' do got some good iced coffee. That's always gonna be the girly for real. However, Chad, I'll go to like an Asian place or a cafe to get matcha because it tastes better.
Matcha coffees, matcha pancakes, matcha noodles, a couple of...
Okay, hold on. Don't knock it till you try it, Tommy.
Years ago, would have seen something like this and fried you on the internet for even having it. But now all you gotta do is post a trying matcha noodles on TikTok and people will love it just because it's matcha. Where the did all this matcha talk come from though? Like matcha
Japan.
is cool to me, but how did they get to the point where we're facing potential global shortages of it because everyone's having it? Also, having energy drinks is more commonplace now. Like I remember in the past, if you told someone you was drinking energy drinks, they thought you were cooked, providing for 4 different families on a one-man salary while getting 4 hours of sleep. Every company now for some reason has their own line of energy drinks. Like who is dead ass drinking the toxic waste energy drink and the Sonic the Hedgehog energy drink?
There's no way. They got this in a drink? Ari, you're famous. Ari, you had your own energy drink? Ari? Incentive. Dear God, Ari. Who is drinking Ari? Ari Wood. Yeah, we buying you drinking. I didn't even know they had this. I might have to try it now.
Actually, that last one might not be too bad. Might just have me a grab it. I think caffeine addiction is also rising too because a lot more people are sleep deprived nowadays. It's a blessing for real if you can get 8 full hours of sleep in this time. So when people are tired, they say, why not? Let me just get one energy drink for the day. There is a very big risk with it though, and we can't forget. Energy drinks have only been getting used a lot more in the past 2 decades, so we still don't have long-term studies on their effects. And there's even tragic cases about it, like the case of Katie Donnell. Katie Donnell was a 28-year-old teacher and fitness enthusiast, and she always tried to live a healthy lifestyle and had a lot of caffeine through the day as one of the things. She would have 3 energy drinks a day and a caffeine supplement on top of that before going to the gym. And by the way, the recommended max amount of caffeine you're supposed to have in a day is 400 milligrams. Depending on how much caffeine those drinks had, she could have been having like 2x or 3x the daily limit. But even if they were smaller amounts, I think we can all agree that just the sound of having 3 energy drinks a day is insane. And in 2021, Katie had a heart attack and had to be put in the hospital, where 10 days later, she sadly passed away from the effects of it. So if you're near having 3 drinks a day, it might be time to reconsider how many you're having. The best schedule for people that do want to have caffeine is 5 days a week with at least 2 days off it. The more you have it, the more tolerant you get to it. So it's always better to have a little reset just so the effects still hit. It's also a problem too that kids are now starting to have energy drinks. When Prime released its energy drinks, there was parents complaining that their kids were having them and it was causing problems. I don't know what type of stress these is even going through to be having energy drinks.
Axios, I almost joined the VC, but I am also recording, so I can't do that at the moment. That's why you drink 3 pre-workouts. No. Now, mind you, Chad, I ain't gonna lie. I used to dry scoop my pre-workout. I ain't gonna lie with you. I will get the scoop of the pre-workout, put that like on like the tongue or like on like, you know, somewhere on the inside of the mouth. Get my water, swish it, down it. I used to do that. And then I started looking into the effects of what that does. And I'm like, oh yeah, nah, I'm not doing this no more. So I started getting like little cans, you know what I mean? I started out with Bang, Alani, and then now I'm on Ghost, you know? Yeah, I was dry scooping pre-workout. I had to chill. Chad.
Only started drinking them.
Now you gotta down D chips.
After having some adult type responsibilities. Before 18, I wasn't having them. And once again, parents strike again at not monitoring their kids, because how do they even get access to these energy drinks? Since I said I only have them when I work out, we might as well throw gym in there as an addiction. Some of y'all might think it's odd that gym is here, but if you see how fitness social media is now, you know how bad it can get. There's been a lot more of a rise in gym influencers since 2020. I'm glad the gym is becoming way more popular though, because in general, it's good for everyone's health. But the lengths some people take to look like some of the influencers online is unbelievable. It's universally known now that a lot of influencers online straight up use performance enhancing drugs to look the best. One of the biggest known cases I would say is The Rock. Everyone knows for his physique at his age, it's almost impossible for him to look like this without taking some type of performance enhancing drug. He always denies it and says he doesn't use them, which no one believes. Because when your job is to look the best, a lot of these influencers and celebs feel like they have no choice but to take them to keep up with everyone. And people in the gym community point out all the time who may be fake or real. One of the biggest gym influencers on YouTube's job is literally predicting from years of experience what influencer or celeb transformation is real or fake. But even if the influencers doing it are natural, it's never good to compare yourself because their entire job is meant to look good. Like, they can spend hours at a time in the gym every day to look like that. Meanwhile, the average person usually gets out of school or work and can have 1 or 2 hours max. And it leads to people thinking they have to take the same drugs those influencers are taking. Nowadays, there's people who will show their journey through taking steroids or testosterone casually. I guess it's kind of good they're being honest, but like, can you imagine people did this for any other drug? Imagine a meth addict showing their journey of taking it through the years. And the people taking these drugs are getting younger and younger because they look up to these guys, ruining their whole body before it even got time to fully develop. It's okay to accept the fact that you probably won't reach their level, and if you do, it'll just take you significantly longer, which is fine. Like, bro, you got decades of your life to reach that type of build if you want to. You don't gotta rush it when you're young. And the reality is, you probably won't even want to keep up with that type of physique because it'll be too much work. The last category we got, which 90% of my audience will relate to, is unemployment. Unemployment is the new lifestyle that everyone's getting into.
Shadow J3DI Knight has just donated $1. I did drink the Sonic energy drink and it did the opposite of me and I became Shadow the Hedgehog.
Hi, bro.
I'm 34.
34? Okay, what do you do?
I am a risk taker. I'm a road runner. I'm an entrepreneur.
I mean, think of it. You can nibble off of someone else's work for free while laying down on a couch and watching your favorite TV show. Society's become so cooked that anyone who quits their job or anyone who's applied to more than 5 and got denied just give up and decide to live that lifestyle. You even mention the word job to certain and they start quivering in fear for their life. You know what? I'm feeling pretty evil today.
We just
Let's
watched
go
a
ahead
whole
and go
video
on a
about
TOS run to get me packed out of here real quick. And I do want to put a disclaimer. What you're about to hear may be disturbing. Job, employment, working, career,
401k,
business, profession, operation. I feel free being able to say what I want. I feel like the
Taxes.
world is in the palm of my hand. For some
Retirements.
reason, even though it feels like no one is getting a job now, we're actually reaching low levels of employment, well, at least compared to 2020. Moment of silence for all my who were looking for a job during COVID. Glad that wasn't me. Because God knows where I would be right now. The thing that's doomed Gen Z is as soon as finally started to get their degrees and get ready for the real world, AI had to advance at levels we never thought possible. I might have to make a video on just this alone. Man, we all thought AI would take jobs like fast food and have robots flipping burgers, but that's it. Now you got AI that can code entire websites for free. You got AI that automatically run YouTube channels and generate them unlimited money. And for us, it was a big rush of people getting STEM degrees because everyone was saying that
there's robots that can do that? A robot can go ahead and run a channel? Okay, chat, hear me out. Hear me out real quick, right? I record the videos, right? I let my robot edit it, do the thumbnail, then post it up on YouTube. A win is a win. A win is a win. The job's still getting done.
that was the speed run to get a 6-figure job.
So
It's great
y'all
to know
not
that
hear
all
me
those
out?
degrees are
Fudge.
completely useless now that those jobs are taken by AI. So no wonder everyone's giving up and are embracing their unemployment. And when GTA 6 drops, mark my words, will quit their jobs just to have time to play this once-in-a-lifetime game. I'm truly scared for the job market in that moment. Hospitals are gonna be empty from doctors and nurses trying to finish the GTA 6 storyline. So anyways, that's about it. If you don't align close to any of the things I mentioned, then congrats, you're one of the special ones. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, I love you guys consensually. And until next time, I'm out.
Y'all wasn't feeling the robot idea? I feel like it is. That would have been cool. Like, the videos would still be uploaded to the YouTube. Dang. Y'all, he said no. If Auri gets a robot to do her job, like editing or something, then we'll call it Metal Sonic. You know what? On that note, like, listen, we're gonna go ahead and end it here. Tommy, shout out to you. Thank you so much for the video. Shout out to y'all in the chat. Shout outs to you at home, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.